I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris.
And this is
Mike Fight. Let's get it on.
Episode 26. Chris, today we're going to talk about sports, but more specifically, we're going to talk about the good old Olympics. First of all, do you think the Olympics are going to happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Secondly, there's been a lot of stories happening about the Olympics as of the one that I want to just talk about first is, I don't know her name. Can you look up her name, what her name is? But she's considered the fastest woman in the United States. Right? The fastest woman in the United States. Chris, she is our ticket, right? But guess what? She is no longer going to be representing the United States. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because she tested positive for, take a guess.
Steroids.
Eh.
HGH.
Eh.
Cocaine.
Eh.
Am I getting warmer?
Nope.
Marijuana.
Ding, 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 ding. Her name is Sha'Carri Richardson. Okay? She is considered the fastest woman in the United States. Sha'Carri Richardson. She is not going to be representing the United States at the Olympics this year because of marijuana.
That's good.
It bothers me because here you are, you've trained pretty much your entire life to get to this point, to where you are at the pinnacle of your career, the pinnacle of fitness, the pinnacle of your talent, going up to represent the country in which you were able to foster and become this phenomenal athlete. And now, because you tested positive for marijuana, something so stupid and asinine, now you can't do it. You're not going to be able to represent the greatest country in the world because you had to go and be a dope. Pun intended.
Yeah, and she tried to, she made an explanation afterwards. I think she got some bad news about somebody in her family maybe.
I think it was her mother.
It was her mother, where I guess she uses marijuana to decompress, and
Listen,
calm down, I guess, which I understand. See, this is where I get torn with this because marijuana, to me, I really don't give a shit about.
I agree.
If you want to smoke, you smoke.
Right. I don't give it. I agree with you 100% about that. And, if they want to go and change the rules, fine. Go and change the rules.
Right.
I don't find marijuana to be at all a performance-enhancing drug. Your performance is not going to be enhanced when you're high.
No. Only your appetite is going to be enhanced.
All right? You know what? You definitely shouldn't do it. They should probably test Joey Chestnuts if they test him over the weekend.
Yeah,
setting
man.
Another record, beating his own record on the 4th of July Nathan's hot dog eating
hot
contest.
Dogs. Hot dogs.
76 freaking hot dogs.
That's disgusting.
He beat his own record by one hot dog.
How long do you have to keep the hot dogs down for it to count?
I have no idea.
Like, can you just swallow that last one and they crown you winner and you just fucking turn around and throw up all over the judge's feet?
I think you have to at least wait till they crown you.
I don't know, man. I don't know if that should count then. I don't like that. I think there should be a time limit. Like, at least an hour after the competition's over, you have to keep that stuff down before you're allowed to throw it back.
There may be. I honestly don't know. But the fact that the man ate not only 76 hot dogs, but the buns to go with it.
Oh, my God. How do you even train yourself to allow your stomach?
Have you never seen his?
No.
There's like a documentary on YouTube about him eating.
Watching.
The guy's literally
hockey.
like dirt
I'm watching
poor.
the Stanley Cup. I don't care about hot dogs.
Oh man, That was a feet and a half. It's so disgusting.
It is. I can't stand hot dogs. I like eating like a burnt one at a barbecue. I'll have one or two here and there, but I got to be in the mood for it. To eat 76, the thought of it, it just makes me nauseous.
Yeah, but the Nathan hot dogs.
I know. Nathan's is good. It is good.
They got a good thing over there. But anyway, Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yeah, listen, it's the rules. Like you said, you're training. This is the thing. How many athletes in this country are training for the Olympics every year? Thousands. Yeah. Thousands and thousands of athletes a year training for this moment that happens every 4 years where you can represent the country in whatever sport that you want, that you're training for. And you get picked out of the thousands that join. And you know the rules. You know what you have to do. You know what you can't do. And, again, I sympathize because of the situation. But still, there's a rule there. You broke it. They disqualify you. As much as I sympathize for you, and I think that, you would have done a hell of a job had you been
I think
in
she
the
would
Olympics.
Have been great, man.
Yeah.
I think she would have been phenomenal. I mean, her career of this, considered the fastest woman in the United States. God, that's such a feat. Congratulations. I mean, tremendous work.
Yeah.
Tremendous work.
Yeah.
Phenomenal athlete. And to have it, again, it's so, like, it makes me upset because, yes, it is a stupid rule. It is.
Right. But it's
a rule.
Exactly.
And if they go and change the rules, fine. Great. Good. But right now it's not.
Right.
And that's the point. And it's, again, everyone can bitch and and scream that it's unfair, it's not right, it's ridiculous. First of all, it's not unfair.
No,
it's not. It's not right.
It's a set rule. It's written down. It's been around forever. It's fair.
Stupid.
Yes.
Yes, it's stupid. I agree with that. I agree with you there. It's stupid. And does it need to be changed? In my opinion, I think it does. But I'm not the one who does that. The Olympic board is. They don't seem to be on board with changing the rules at this point. So, what do you got to do? Play within the rules.
Right. You got to suck it up for the time being. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And
so, and she tweeted out, she's only human. You're absolutely right.
But being human means you face the consequences of your actions.
Absolutely.
Our state legalized marijuana.
Oh.
But my job is still illegal to use marijuana in my employment. So if I decide to make a stupid move and go and smoke a joint and my job decides to drug test me, guess what? I'm getting fired.
Same thing here.
Now, I can cry and bitch about it all I want. Marijuana is legal. It's not that big of a deal. Who cares? Whatever. The point is, it's a fucking rule. Like you said, it's a rule. You knew that when you signed up. You knew that when you took the job. Just like she knew it when she signed up for the Olympics. And she chose to, break it for whatever the reason is.
However much, like you said, you want to sympathize with it. And I do too. I've lost a parent. I was in a dark space for a while. I didn't turn to drugs to calm me down or anything, but I definitely can see there was definitely a draw, right? At least to something just to relax me and get me to zone out, perhaps. I can totally understand it. Totally, 100%. But it doesn't. If it came back and bit me in the ass to maybe my job, let's say, right? Then, I'd have to deal with it would just add to the situation, right? Because I'd have to deal with it. I have to, like you said, I have to pay the consequences for my actions.
Yeah. But I think that the whole idea of consequences is kind of going out the window along with, things like responsibility. Because I think with social media and the outcry of people nowadays and the effects that it has on decisions that are being made, I think that people are going out there now and doing things, even if they know they're wrong, because they feel like they're going to have enough people behind them screaming and yelling that it's going to force whoever the
Change.
powers are at
Force
be,
change.
force them to change whatever it is that got you disqualified. In this case, let's say marijuana, where you're going to have enough people screaming and yelling, going, she shouldn't be disqualified, let her run, it's not a big deal, it's just where they think that enough people are going to scream and yell, where the Olympic board is going to turn on and overturn it. And so people are taking the chance in doing things like this because of that reason. Because you're seeing it everywhere.
I don't think she's a bad woman.
I don't think so either. No,
I think
no, no.
she honestly
Not at
made
all.
a mistake. I do. Like she said, she is human. I get that. I think it was an unfortunate event that happened.
Right.
I don't think she's one of those people that are purposely going out there and doing wrong things. I think she made a mistake, quote unquote, made a mistake, and I say mistake because she was in a vulnerable situation, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally.
But it kind of reminds me of the whole Gina Carano thing, where I don't think she thought that she was going to be fired, but maybe she did, because according to, the people on the Disney side, they said that they had warned her multiple times before about her social media posts and her political, affiliations or whatever, and that she just blatantly ignored them. She made her political posts on her Instagram page, and they fired her. Now, maybe she thought she wasn't going to get fired, but she ended up getting fired. There was enough outcry out there where people forced Disney's hand into, and Disney's own, execs and people that work for them were happy to just fire her. But it was the opposite situation where enough people on the other side created such an outcry for her firing that Ben Shapiro and his company stepped up and said, no, this woman still has something to say. She's got something to prove. She's got her career ahead of her, her life ahead of her, and we're not going to allow her getting fired from there to stop her from living her dream. And they gave her a job, and she's back to making movies and, writing her own scripts, and her life moves on. Her life's been better ever since. And I think situations like that are kind of making other people think that there's enough outcry with social media that if they make a mistake, they'll be able to overturn whatever decision will negatively impact them.
I think that that might happen down the road when it comes to this. I don't think it's going to have an immediate effect now.
No, not in this case. And I don't think it will just in the Olympics in general, because the Olympics is a sporting event. And it's not just a sporting event, but it's an event that represents countries. And in the eyes of someone on the Olympic board, do you want a bunch of athletes smoking, blunts on the field or in their rooms, coming to competitions high? Like you said, it marijuana has the opposite effect of a stimulant, right? It relaxes you, calms you down. Now you have someone who's playing in a sport, and is marijuana going to adversely affect them in that sport? It might.
Adversely.
Adversely, right.
They have it listed as a performance enhancer.
Yeah, which is wrong. But, I mean, it could be right. Like I said, marijuana affects people differently. Maybe someone smokes it and they wake up and all of a sudden they can, sprint 100 miles and they feel good.
I would love to see a line of sprinters fucked up on marijuana trying to run as fast as they can. Yeah. Do they have food dangling in front of them? Is there cake at the end of the finish line?
Well, this could be the opportunity, right? So maybe somebody will create their own Olympics,
The high Olympics.
The high Olympics, and they'll just have a bunch of stoned out athletes trying to do complex sporting maneuvers.
That would be hysterical.
It'd be like, what was that? What was it, a Korean show, like Knocked Out or
Wiped Out? They had Wiped Out on ABC
right.
a whole bunch of years ago.
Yeah. Just have a bunch of high people running over water obstacles and getting nailed with fucking
that's crazy
American Gladiator obstacles. It'd be awesome.
All right, now that was Shikari. I hope I'm not butchering her name, but I feel for you. It's unfortunate. I'm so I'm annoyed that it's happening, that we have quite possibly the fastest person in the world.
Yeah, I think that her times put her close to that, if not.
And she's not going to have an opportunity to do it. So and represent the United States, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Now, there's another story with the Olympics. I'm going to go over to the weightlifting.
Oh, Jesus.
The weightlifting.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a controversy over here. So we all know that we want to be, what is the term? Inclusive. Right? We want to be inclusive. So, in the board, we just went over on how stupid we think the marijuana thing is. In their wisdom, infinite wisdom, they want to be inclusive. So, they've elected to have transgender athletes compete in the sport in the sex category in which they identify. So currently there is I think he's from, what is he, Switzerland?
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Laurel, what was it? Laurel Hubbard.
Hubbard.
Yeah, Hubbard's the name.
I think this individual is, 40 years old.
Yeah, he's like 43 or
Yeah.
45, somewhere up there.
So
yeah.
we're in the 40s.
He's the oldest competitor.
And he has made the Olympics.
Well, she. Now.
The individual has made
Right,
the
right.
Olympics
Right.
as a transgender female athlete.
Right.
Right. Now, he was born a male,
Yes.
has not gone under any type of hormone therapy, has not done any type of castration surgery. So therefore, the individual is still producing all hormones as biologically given, okay? But identifies as a woman. Therefore, the Olympics has allowed him to do the weightlifting categories as a female,
Yes.
and he wins. Like, blows out the competition,
Yeah.
okay? Mind you, all the years that he has identified as a man, the guy was crap.
Yeah.
Could not, don't get me wrong, he weightlifts and he lifts heavy weight, I get that, but would not be considered at all for the Olympics as a male.
No, I think his max weight on like a clean and jerk or something was like 300 pounds. Which is heavy. Don't get me wrong. I can't do that.
Right.
But
then again, I don't train for it.
Right. But for like a normal male,
these guys are doing like
600-700
pounds.
Yeah, on a clean and jerk, yeah, you're talking probably
Maybe,
in the high 3s to 4s.
Yeah. So
somewhere. Yeah.
This is. I get so annoyed. It's not that I don't want to be inclusive, or I don't have, say that this individual shouldn't be able to compete. That's not what I'm saying. Perhaps they should create another division, maybe a transgender division.
Well, that idea has been floated, and I don't know if it's gaining any type of ground or not, but that idea has been floated where you'll have a man category, a woman category, and then a transgender woman category, transgender man category, whatever. But the argument on the other side is you're still segregating them from the general population. But so it's like you no matter what you say or how
where are the women? Where are the women?
The women are complaining
now?
About it. That's
right.
the thing. But nobody is giving them any time of day because they don't want to. Here's the thing. We're two men talking about a biological male who identifies as a woman. So naturally, we're going to get attacked for saying we have no idea what she's going through, how she feels. She could very well think that she's a woman, and obviously she does, and she's going through whatever she needs to go through to prove that she's a woman. Or whatever. And we're men, so what do we know? So that's always what the argument is. So what's the best way to combat something like this? Is to get a female, biological female, her point of view as to what is fair in this situation. And every woman that's coming out against is saying, no, it's not fair. Like that we don't stand a chance. It doesn't. You could train as hard as you want. You're not going to stand a chance. It's just a biological fact. And so those people are not being put on TV. They're not being interviewed. Their interviews are not being broadcasted because they don't want that narrative to go out there, because that is your strongest argument, is an actual biological woman fighting for her sport. So you shut them up. You attack people like me and you who are speaking out against it because, quote unquote, we don't understand. And you just allow this garbage to happen. Now, the thing with this particular athlete is I think she had to do a testosterone test where she had to be under a certain level in order to be accepted in there. But the level that she's at
is still 5 times higher than any
right,
female.
Exactly. So, yeah, she passed their test, but in reality, she's still a lot higher testosterone level than
so the guy's
an average
got
female.
low testosterone levels, but that still doesn't mean he's not going to be stronger than a female, because his low testosterone levels are still 5 times higher than any normal or hyper testosterone level for a female.
Right.
It's
Right.
just, again, he's not undergoing any, as far as I know and from what I've read, he's not going under any hormone therapy to bring his levels down. And even if he is, it's still high. He may have been low, but it's not low enough.
No.
That's the point.
He's still technically a man. You know, we talked about this with the MMA, you know, a long time ago with Fallon Fox, where
right,
she was destroying women left and right. You know, pound for pound, she's still going to have a harder punch.
And don't get me wrong, she did wind up losing eventually.
Yeah.
But it took a highly skilled fighter. Forget about pound for pound. It took a fighter, a highly skilled fighter, to beat that person. What was her name again?
Fallon Fox.
That's it, Fox. Again, a fighter. So, yeah, an argument can be made. Well, you see, technique beat the beast. Yeah, well, that happened once.
Right. And how many women paid the price before that happened?
Like, what is it going to take for... Is it going to take for, teeth to be knocked out? Is it going to be concussions? Is it going to be possible death? I mean, what is it going to take?
Well, and it's happening in college sports, high school sports all across the country, too, where biological women are losing scholarships. They're losing opportunities to go to schools.
And to me, that's a crime.
It's
that's
fucking
unfair.
Sick. Dude, I'm telling you, I mean, you have daughters. I don't have kids yet. But when I do, God forbid, I have to see the look on their face, whether it's, a girl or not.
They train, they practice, they train, they practice, they train, they practice, they study, they do what they have to do, and they are at the pinnacle. They are there. Let's say they are top 3, and now all of a sudden you have a transgender individual come in and knocks them down.
Yeah. And that decision can alter your entire
career,
life.
your
entire
trajectory.
Life. Yeah.
What if the person... I mean, let's just put a scenario out there. And this is going to be extreme hyperbole. But I don't think it's that far-fetched. Girl comes up through high school, does her training. Soccer. No, let's go a little bit more. Let's say basketball. All right? Basketball. Gets on the team, high school team, starting 5. Doing great. She's the point guard now. Right? Point guard. Goes into freshman year, junior year, now senior year, right? She's senior year. All of a sudden, she's now getting ready for college. She goes on there, gets accepted at the college. She's going trying out for college now, right? She's probably got a little bit of a scholarship. Perhaps got a little bit of a scholarship, right? All of a sudden, she's got to maintain, to get onto the team. She still has to perform to get onto the team. All of a sudden comes a transgender person, plays the same point guard. Okay. This individual, biological male, identifies as a woman, knocks her off. She doesn't play. All of a sudden now she loses her scholarship. Can't afford the school. Has to drop out of school, or at least that college.
Yeah.
Now has to go somewhere else. But now what if she just doesn't go back to school? She says, screw it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, it could,
I don't wanna do this anymore.
demoralize somebody.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I know my example probably was terrible. But it's
It
still
got
the
to
idea
point. Yeah.
that person may not be able to handle that.
Yeah. Now, how you counter that? I mean, if it was me and I was some sports company, some sports supplement company, or like a clothing line or a gym that wanted to sponsor one of these athletes, I wouldn't even be looking at her. I would go to the second place. In this category, in weightlifting category in Olympics, let's say I was looking to pick up an athlete from the Olympics and sponsor them as my athlete. They train under me for the next 4 years to the next Olympics. And we're going to have her as our athlete until her Olympic career is over and whatever. She does other competitions within the country, the whole 9 yards. I'm not looking at her. If she wins, I'm not looking at her as my top athlete. I'm going to go with the second place or the third place athlete because I know that that person, had the stakes been fair, would have won, would have been on top. And I'm going to give that person the opportunity. Now you can call me a whatever you want. Call me a xenophobic, transphobic, bigot. Yeah, that's the big term now, bigot. Call me whatever you want. I don't care. That's my personal feeling to it. Like I said, I don't care about your personal choices. If you want to transform yourself into somebody else because that is how you personally feel, fine. I do not care.
But
it does not bother me.
It can't happen at the effect of others, though.
Right. You cannot do that with the negative effects on others, like you said, where you're using it to gain advantage. You're using it to gain advantage. There was a funny quote where, sorry, just real quick, stupid, but Smallville. I'm pretty sure it's Smallville, right?
Love Smallville.
Remember how Clark wanted to play on the football team?
Yes.
Right? And I honestly don't remember if he did play or he didn't play. But if he did, the rule that his father told him was you cannot use your powers. Right? And what was the reason behind that?
Because he would smoke everyone.
He's fucking Superman. He would blow through every single player on the field. He'd score touchdowns every half a second.
Yeah.
No, you want to play, you play like everybody else. You leave your powers at home. Sounds like a stupid analogy, but that's the way I look at it here, where you are going into this with a known advantage, and you are using that to gain the upper ground on
regardless
other
if you're
athletes.
doing it consciously or unconsciously. You may not think it's an advantage. You might think all this. Physically, it's an advantage.
Yes.
And this is nothing against women. Nothing against women. It's just, it's biological. It's just, it is what it is. There's no.
Everything's the same.
The male will be stronger than the female.
Yeah.
In the end. Okay? 9 times.
It's the same.
The male will be stronger than the female.
Yeah.
In the end. Okay? 9 times.
Same.
The male will be stronger than the female.
Yeah.
In the end. Okay? 9 times out of 10. There's probably 8 times out of 10. Because I know some definitely strong women. And I know some definitely weak men. But given generalities, that's going to happen, right? The male is going to be stronger than the female. I feel bad for the female athletes.
Yeah. 100%.
They're the ones getting screwed.
Yeah, they are.
And the Olympics, they seem to just turn a blind eye to this. They don't know how to handle it.
No.
They don't know how to just stand up and say, listen, we're going to create this category or these 2 categories. People are either going to play or they're not going to play.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
We're not excluding you. We're including you. But to maintain fairness, this is how it's got to be done.
Yeah, well now they're allowing activism. That's what it is. They're bringing activism into the Olympics, and they're putting that over the general sport, and it's unfortunately, it's going to ruin it. I mean, I don't know how well the Olympics do in ratings anyway. I'm sure they're not as high as, let's say, something like the Super Bowl, at least in this country, the Super Bowl or the World Series or NBA Finals or something like that. But I'm sure around the world, the Olympics do well. But I can't see this having anything other than a negative effect.
I'm going to be curious to see if this particular athlete wins.
Yeah.
If this particular athlete wins, I would be very curious to see what if there's any outcry or not.
I'll probably see lawsuits. I could see lawsuits against the Olympics.
We shall see.
By female athletes.
So let us know what you think. Do you think I'm off the mark? Do you think my example was hideous or not? But tell us your thoughts. Let us know.
Yes.
And with that,
we're out.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris. And this is where we drop the mic.